want to take care of this little tab that was left over when we took off the lid. You're going to take your pliers and just push that down as far as you can. That way there's no rough edges to cut you while you're putting your duct tape on it. So I'm just pushing it down, and as you can see, it's all gone. Now we're going to pick our tape. I went with red accenting the Hello Kitty tape. So I just took one strip of tape and I did it about 10 inches, and I'm just putting half of it on to the top of the can. And as you can see, I'm just rolling it around. And then what I'm going to do before I put it all the way around, I'm going to start folding it into the can. If you would have taped it all the way around, it would be harder to actually fold over the tape. So if you leave half of it off, it'll work a lot better. And now I'm just going to finish it off and now continue to fold it around. Now this is going to make it so that when you fill your can with your rice or your beans, it's going to have a decorative inside and an accent color to whatever duct tape you're using. And also it makes it so that it doesn't cut you when you're trying to put your brushes in or out. So it's just a nice rim. So there we go. It doesn't cut you, it's nice and smooth. So I do the same thing. I took a 10-inch strip of the Hello Kitty duct tape, which is going to be the main color of this can, and you just line it up to the edge, leave a little bit of a lip from the top of the can, just so it has that nice red accent color, and then just smooth it out around. I'm going to do it again. Now I tried to match up the pattern. If you don't have a pattern duct tape, it's a lot easier, but this does have a pattern, so I tried to match it up as well as I could. It really doesn't matter. So you're just going to do the same thing. You're going to work the tape around. Now you want to make sure you're ending the tape in the same place in the back so that your seam is all in the back. Okay, as you can see, I'm just going to roll it around, placing it on the middle of the can. And then we're just going to do this step one more time and cut number 3, the third strip, 10 inches long as well. And you're going to cover the bottom in the same way, making sure when it lines up that the seam will be in the back. Now I'm trying to match up the pattern, like I said, as best as possible, but it's really not a big deal. Especially if you're using a solid color, it'll go a lot faster. So I'm just laying the tape down all the way around, smoothing as much as possible. And then you'll see you have quite a bit left over. So what I did is I cut a slit in 3 places, and that just makes it so that you can fold down the tape a lot easier. So there's 2 slits, and I just fold it down, and now I cut one more, and then just fold it and overlap it. And this is the bottom of your can. Now I'm going to take a very long strip. I didn't measure this, it's as long as my mat is, and what we're going to do is we're going to make a ruffle out of the duct tape. And I show you here on my other version. We're going to make that ruffle for the top. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn our duct tape over and fold it about 3/4 of the way up on itself, because you want to leave that little bit left so that when you fold it into the ruffle, it folds over on itself and the tape holds itself together. This is actually not very easy, so it may take a little bit of practice. I make duct tape wallets, so I've kind of done this before, but as you can see, I'm kind of folding it over 1/3 the way up, so I left a little bit there. And now what you're going to do is start folding it like an accordion. So when you were little and used to fold those fans out of paper, that's kind of what we're going to be doing here. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to fold it, and then fold it again in an accordion fold. And see, as I'm pressing my fingers together, I'm getting the tape that's exposed at the, well, here at the bottom to stick to itself. That way it holds it together. Now this does tend to pop open while you're folding it, so you just have to be really diligent about holding it together and making sure it gets stuck on itself. And I'm just going to keep showing you how to fold it like an accordion. So now we're going to do the same thing with the white tape. We're going to flip it over and fold it 1/3 of the way up, leaving that little bit of duct tape exposed. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to fold it into an accordion and make a white ruffle. That way we have a red and white ruffle. Okay, so now that we have both of our ruffles made, as you can see, I had to make 2 of the white ones because I didn't make it long enough. We're just going to take that exposed bottom part of the ruffle duct tape and place it onto the top of the can. And now I'm just going to place the other one that I had to make. And you're going to have to smooth this as you go. I'm just cutting off the excess. And now I'm just laying the red in the same exact way, using the exposed part that we left at the bottom to hold it to the can, and just smoothing as I go. This is the other piece that I had to make. If it's not long enough to wrap the can, you will have to do it twice. And as you can see, it kind of pops off the can a little bit, but that's okay because we're actually going to secure this with another piece of duct tape. But we want it to be mostly on the can so it's easier to work with. So I'm just kind of smoothing it out, making sure it's pushed down on the can and it's firmly attached. And now I'm just going to take my 10-inch strip of duct tape that's in the same color as my can color, which is the Hello Kitty duct tape. And I'm going to lay it about a 1/2 inch to 1/4 of an inch over the ruffle, the bottom of the ruffle, just so we are sure that the ruffle is nice and secure. And remember, you want the end of your duct tape where the seam is to be in the back as well, along with the rest of the seams from wrapping the can. So I'm just kind of smoothing it as I wrap it, that way all the ruffles go in the same direction. So just kind of hold it down with your hand and smooth it as you're wrapping the can. And smooth your duct tape as you go. It will kind of pucker and wrinkle a little bit because of the ruffling, but it's fairly easy to smooth that out. And I'm kind of pulling it taut or very tight so that I can make sure it's really on there. And it may take a few times of undoing it, as you can see. And there you go. It's all finished. There's our double ruffle. Now I'm just going to make a little bow out of white. I just folded a piece of duct tape over on itself. And I'm just kind of measuring just to see how big I want my bow to be. Then you fold the sides together. And then where they join, you just kind of pinch it with your fingers. And that makes a bow. So what we're going to do is take a tiny little piece of red duct tape and wrap it and leave a little piece of the red and stick it on. Now this is rice that I'm using, but you can use anything from beans, coffee beans, anything like that. But the rice really holds the brushes up well. And I have been using this as well as the polka dot one that I showed you earlier, and I'll show you again that one. And it is holding up great. It holds my brushes perfectly and I love it. All right. Bye!